Hi, I have with me Jacob Goldman of LoHo. He's a broker from the Lower East Side, and we're just gonna find out a little bit more about him today and to learn more about his business. Hi, Jacob.
How you doing, Benson?
I'm good. Thank you for having this conversation with me. The reason how I came about this is I got this idea from a friend, but I was walking around Chinatown, where I live, and I see that a lot of businesses, there's not a lot of foot traffic going around Chinatown and around New York City and everything. And I figured this might be something good to actually spotlight, highlight good businesses, bring them get to know the story about them from how they got started and how if anything that they want to share about the pandemic and hopefully get them some business. So I've been interviewing different businesses, local businesses, and I have you here.
Great, thank you. I think small businesses have been hurt the most, and that's really what you're doing is really great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Where exactly are you from?
Little bit all over the place. I was born in Brooklyn, but
Okay.
when I was a month old, I told my folks didn't like the neighborhood, so we moved to Baltimore.
Okay.
Then we moved to a suburb of Detroit.
Wow.
After high school, my family moved to Rockland County, New Jersey, and when I got married in 1990s, moved to the Lower East Side.
Wow. So you've
And
been here, wow, for almost 30 years already.
20, yeah, 25, 20, yeah,
Wow.
5 years.
So how long have you been already a realtor, broker or salesperson?
Yeah, I've been a broker since
Broker. Okay.
1999.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story that leads into this,
Yeah. Please share it.
which is I'm actually an attorney. And
Okay.
and as an attorney, as a matter of right, you could be a real estate broker. You
Uh
don't
huh.
have to spend whatever. There's certain criteria to become a broker. I did it the long way by going to law school. And what happened is that the co-ops, the Grand Street co-ops on the Lower East Side, went reconstituted, where they used to have a limited equity, where you didn't really own it. You paid anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, and you got to live there. But if you had succession rights, you can give it to your children, but
Okay.
you couldn't sell it. In 1996, they reconstituted to that everyone owned it. And for a few years, there was cap prices on these apartments of what you could sell these apartments for. But in 2000, they came off.
Oh
And what
wow.
I was doing was during these years, I was actually a real estate, I was attorney as doing real estate closings. And I actually enjoyed doing that, which because when I graduated from law school, people would say to me, Jacob, I hope I never have to use your services. I say, what are you talking about? I mean, yeah, I guess if you're DWI or murder or criminal, but like there are good things that lawyers do. They help you with estate planning, which is important, or buying a house, selling an apartment. These are big decisions in your life. And the lawyers can help you on things that are not just, bad. So I enjoyed actually the process of doing a real estate closing. You had people interested, you helped them in something so important. There weren't too many challenges. There are things that could come up, but you're hoping them and there's an end. A lot of litigation is problems and no one's happy. Like, when a lot of things with lawyers, it's not a good experience because you don't want to be there. Here
Hmm.
you want to be there. And I enjoyed doing that. So he's doing these closing for these co-ops
Okay.
from starting from 96, because people were selling them. So they needed an attorney. I'm like, hey, I'm an attorney. I do them. But then I realized at a point where I'm thinking, real estate brokers and agents are making a lot more than the attorneys are. the attorney knows everything. They do so much work and they're making a small amount. And these people, some of them don't even know what they're talking about. Some do, but some like don't even know. I'm like, they're doing better. So I'm like, I'm going to go there. And I became a real estate agent. It reminded me of the famous story. There's a famous bank robber where people said, why do you rob banks? So the guy says, because that's where the money is. So I decided, like, I'm doing the same kind of work I love, which is helping people in a big decision. And I'm taking that and just doing it in a way that was more lucrative and helpful for my family at that time. So that's how I became a real estate broker, because I just followed what was happening. And many people in life, when they're, whatever they do, they may start off like in one area, and then they take the opportunity. So I took the opportunity of becoming a lawyer and just doing closings to say, hey, and it was untapped because no one was yet dealing with this, because so I came in the ground floor, and I've been the #1 agent for CoOp Village ever since. We work really hard for it. Don't take anything for granted. We love the neighbors, love the people, but we've been doing this for 21 years.
Wow. So do you specialize in anything particular? I guess it's called CoOp Village, or
CoOp Village, that's really my niche. That's, I mean, I have sold in other areas. I'm doing one on Rutgers Street right now. I've done the Washington Heights, something in Midtown, but that's not my niche. If you're dealing with the Lower East Side and you're doing particularly the CoOp Village, that's my niche. That's my specialty, and there's no one that knows it better than me.
Okay. How far is the CoOp Village?
So CoOp Village makes up of 12 buildings.
12 buildings
on the Lower East Side that span from the Grandin FDR to as far west as Grandin Essex, with 2 of the buildings being on East Broadway.
Wow. Okay.
And there's 4 co-op corporations: East River, Hillman, Amalgamated, and Seward Park.
Wow. Okay.
It's 4,500 units approximately. They're actually getting less units because more people buy and combine them. So the amount of units are actually technically decreasing.
Tell me, like, how have people bought units to combine? Like they bought a whole floor, or?
No, I don't think any. There's I think there are like 5. There have been someone, or there's someone with 5 apartments, but in general, most people don't have. If they're combined, they're not combining more than 2. There are a few 3s. Outside of that, I think there's something with 5. I think. I lost count. Most of them are 2 or 3 units. There are some of them are duplex, which are more complicated, up and down.
Yeah.
Most people, and it also eats up more space because you need room for the staircase. Mm-hmm. It's much more complicated, more expensive. The easier ones are side by side. But there's someone in Seward Park. I saw a beautiful duplex they did. And it's great because you have also that separation where you're like, okay, the bedrooms are upstairs and the common area is downstairs. So I've seen some really nice duplexes, but they're not as common.
Okay. With the, how has, what's going on with the pandemic? How has that taken a toll on the real estate?
Sure. So Lower East Side has got a 5% decrease in value because of the pandemic. But right now, where we are now, I think we've really hit the low, and I think there's a lot of optimism now, where you have a new administration, you have people getting vaccinated, and the people that wanted to leave have left, and the people that want to stay are stayed or are coming back. And I really think we're we're at the lowest point price wise right now since
Okay.
the top of 2018, where the market had started going down in 2018 just for a correction because we had a crash basically in 2008. We have a little bit of correction. Now I see we've really petered out, and I expect it through the spring. This is being recorded in February 2021. So you just say, anyone listen, like, what time are they talking about here? Because this is going to be a timeless interview. I know people in 5 or 10 years from now will still be racking up views on YouTube. So in February of 2021, we hit the bottom. Things are going throughout the city, and it's really this is true throughout the city. January has been a record year for contracts. And so the inventory has been the lowest it's really been in some part of 2018. And I really just think that anyone who wants to buy should be buying right now because it's the lowest point. And I do expect, I don't know that prices will go up drastically soon, but I think that inventory dries up and demand increases, you're going to have that slow but steady increase in price.
Okay. Got it.
So call me right now to buy.
Sounds good. You hear that?
Even if you're watching in 10 years from now, still call me to buy or sell.
You got that, everybody? How do you currently
555-1212.
How do you advertise your business?
Sure. Well, there are a bunch of different ways. There's ways that every broker does, which is to have all these real estate websites. You have your own website. Our website does have a lot of traffic in it. I got a lot of requests, people going directly on our website. Most of it's tech. You have certain, Streeties, Zillow, Trulia, Localize. They're all on all the platforms. You also we co-broke. We make access to brokers, which is really important.
Okay.
On it because what often happens, I find with co-brokers is that when I ask for a time, most co-brokers are all over. They're looking at different areas. We just focus here, so we have almost a 100%, percent return. Let me rephrase this. When a broker asks us for a particular time and want to be able to see something, even on short notice, we're almost 100% of the time be able to have them have access. So advertising is great, but if you're not available to show it, then the advertising doesn't work. So I have myself, I have Samantha, I have Carol, I have people that are able to help show the apartment on really short notice. So that's really important. It's not advertising, but having the accessibility is important because it's not just about advertising. What's important in addition to that is not just the advertising part, but we also go with local blog, which is the lowdown. We have the banner on top there. But it's also our newsletter that we send out. It's also our past clients that we send out. I have emails from people who I've helped. This is the third family member that I've helped.
Wow.
It's their database. So it's not really called advertising, but it is. It's part of your marketing. You're speaking to your clients. You make your clients someone that they're not just okay, I have a deal and I don't even, who are you again? You're someone that you follow up with. Do the best you can. Doing it for 20 years, it's like, I wish I did, but I wish I remembered every single person. I don't remember every single person, but usually after speaking for 3-4 minutes, like, hey, how you doing? And great. And I know, but it's a follow up. So those are the things that are important. The one thing, and I think this is something you deal with social media, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So social media is actually, I think, the biggest and most, in addition to the tech part and the website, that's one part. It's your past sphere and your sphere of influence, another part. Another part is really social media. Social media is really huge. And anyone who's not really mastering social media will be at a loss. When I say social media, I mean, yes, the Instagram, the Facebook, TikTok if you want, which I did do a little bit of. You can see videos of me dancing, okay? But it's understanding what's reels, what's, you know, when you talk about Instagram, it's not just Instagram, it's reels, it's stories, it's Facebook story, it's someone who really is on all platforms. And it's relatively easy to, if done right, you could do a lot with it. It's going on YouTube. What you're doing is what real estate brokers could or should be doing is, okay, I'm the king of the Lower East Side. I'd say someone's the queen of the Upper West Side. Okay, go on, interview all the local people and make videos about them. I hope my competition's not listening to this, okay?
I'm sure they will.
They will, but I have to do it first. Before you release this to the public, I gotta get on my game. But my stuff is on, to get everything and all those things, that's important. So sphere of influence, the technology, the websites, and social media. That you get that, you cover all that. That's how you advertise your listing.
How has the pandemic affected your business in terms of showing the condos, people going to visit?
Sure. Well, I actually, in some ways, the amount of sales that were actually, we had for us, we actually had a really nice, we had a lot of sales. It was not a bad year for us. And people go, oh, that's because people are leaving the city. Well, that's not true, because I can't have a sale if I don't have a buyer. So there could have been buyers before that couldn't really buy now or whatnot. The people that buy, and so you can't say, oh, it's because people are leaving the city. It was people buying too. We actually had a really good year. We had, I think, 38 sales that 38 units that we've moved.
Okay.
And including to that, we had additional X amount of subleases, which is another way of saying rentals when you deal with co-ops. They're technically called subleases. And so it was really good. Now, part of what you asked, I believe, is how were showings, meaning how do we practically do them during COVID, or you just asking how business was?
That, and also how showing the properties and what kind of procedures you have in place for that.
Sure. So everyone wears a bubble. No, I'm just kidding. No bubbles. For the first 3 months of the pandemic, there were very, it was, nothing. We didn't know no one knew how to handle anything. So nothing really was done. We had 5 deals actually in 3 months, which most brokers had 0. And there were people that were solid apartments before, and they pulled the trigger even during the pandemic. But, obviously face masks, there's hand sanitizer, and everyone has their own, particular owner said, look, I want booties on, but some people want booties on their shoes, even nothing to do with pandemic. For the most part, though, there's hand sanitizer, there are masks. Okay. We don't stay too long. We don't have large crowds of people.
Okay.
If there's a bunch of large family for an elevator, we'll break up in 2 groups. Okay. We abide by the rules of the co-op, whatever they may be.
Okay. How are you guys using technology? I know that some brokers are using virtual tours.
Sure. So yeah, one of the things that even during the 3 months that nothing was really happening. Right, because after 3 months, people started coming back to look at things. What we did, we pivot. We had our website didn't allow. It said that they allowed video on it, but we actually tried putting it on it, and it didn't work. And so we changed. We changed our website. We have we have 3D tours on almost all of our listings. We have walkthroughs, we have video. That way, people got a sense of the apartment before coming out. Because what was important is if people are going to come out, it's going to come out because it's important. And one of the things I wanted to mention before was we have a lot less people looking now than other years, but we had more sales. Because if you're actually looking, if you wanted to come out and you wanted to see, you're asking questions, you were serious. The people that come and like, I don't know, maybe, like all those people went to the side because they were not coming out in a pandemic because, oh, let me spend the afternoon looking at open houses and doing a walking tour with Jacob, looking at a bunch of places. They were looking, they were serious. So we really got to spend a lot of time with the people that were serious as opposed to trying to give as much attention to people that weren't really that committed yet. So we were able to really help those people even more. So it was good.
One of my last question I want to ask you is, when someone's actually buying a co-op with all your experience, what is the 3 things that you would say is like the most important thing in buying a co-op?
Sure. Well, I would say more than buying 3 things, I would say is really the 3 partners, your team. The 3 teammate partners are, one is your broker, the second is your attorney, and the third, if you're mortgaging, your mortgage person. Those are the 3 most important people. The broker should be someone that is familiar with the building, knows the co-op, especially the co-op. There's so many rules and regulations. Can I buy it for can I buy it for my parents? Can I buy it for my kids? What tell me about the building? What should I know about, not know about it? So you want someone who knows the building very, very well. Someone who knows the bylaws, the the rules of it, knows the board, how it thinks. Would they allow a trust? Would they not allow a trust? Would they sometimes allow a trust? What are the sublet rules? So having a broker that really knows the co-op very well and understands you and what your needs and I'm going to work for your needs, that's important. Then you want an attorney that does a lot of work in that particular co-op. You want someone who, if you're buying in Manhattan, don't get an attorney from Staten Island, okay? I know I'm going to upset some Staten Island attorneys, but don't. Even Queens and Brooklyn and Bronx, don't. Get someone in Manhattan and someone who's done a lot of work in that particular building, because it really makes a difference. If you're a buyer, that person already knows the due diligence, can shave time off. When you have multiple people wanting to buy a place and then you have to do due diligence, and it's going to take a rich due diligence, which means doing research in the co-op, to check the financials, read the minutes, understand it. That could take a week to do. And during that time period, you're not in contract. So there's nothing binding you to that. So you want someone who understands the co-op, understands the rules, what the co-op will allow, say, hey, this is good, this is not good. And again, a broker who knows that building will be able to help you. I would be like in the co-ops here, I know which attorneys to use that can help you with it. Mortgage, not every bank that you know mortgage does mortgage in every building. There's certain ones that start off really good, and then because there's like a small stupid violation that every building has, they won't close or they give a problem. So you want to use a mortgage person that has a track record in that building. You don't want, actually, just as an example, Chase does loans here. You don't want any Chase rep. You want actually a Chase rep that does this particular building. And that's true whether it's Wells Fargo, whatever bank, or I have a great guy named Stephen Lazarus that does, from Meridian, that does a lot of loans here. But you don't want just anyone from these companies. You want someone who specific knows this, knows how to get it through underwriting, doesn't have to reinvent the wheel for the first time. Not all agents from the same company are the same.
Oh, really?
Because one, they haven't done it. So the three most important things when you buy a co-op are really your team, your broker, your lawyer, and if you are mortgaging, there are some cash buyers out there. We are in the city, of course, got a lot of cash buyers. But if you have a mortgage, having that more, and there are plenty of people that need a mortgage, but we all can't buy all cash. You have that, but a good real estate broker can bring that team in, as opposed to if you went on. I'll knock Zillow. You go to Zillow. Zillow then tries to say, "Hey, use this person." It's just someone who paid for it. You don't care what Zillow or some other company website tells you. You want someone who is there selling in that building, telling you, these are the companies, these are the lawyers that do a lot of work here. You can try with people, use other attorneys, they can, but if you want the quickest and easiest process, you use someone who is local and has that personal touch and knowledge and understanding of the co-op.
Wow. I did not expect that particular answer. I was thinking that you would share some other ideas, whatever, regarding.
Like there was a dishwasher or something.
Yeah, something like that. Wow. Okay. Let's see.
Benson? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say thank you. Thank you very much for doing this. I think you really help profiling local companies and letting people know about this neighborhood, a neighborhood that you said you live in as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's really amazing. And I know this, you're new to this, and this might be out of your natural comfort zone. So I salute you for doing so. It's really, really fantastic.
My pleasure.
Continue the great work.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm going to end this interview now.